Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Ask BQ on Bloomberg Quint Live, and I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Hi, Navneet, and I'm Shraddha Babla. Now, a lot of you already are aware of that the show gets answers to all your equity-related queries, and we're present on all platforms. So you can send your queries to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp, or you can also call us on 022-4540-4141. You can also mail us at askbq@bloombergquint.com, but make sure you add the AskBQ hashtag.
Well, there's a quick update for all our viewers. In order to ensure that we take as many questions as possible, we've already introduced actually rapid fire round towards the end of the show. So do stay with us. There's a high likelihood that we'll get your question answered. But before we get to the individual queries on the show today, let's also tell you what's happening with the equity markets. After yesterday's selling pressure, we had a flat opening coming about, but the markets, I believe, once again have succumbed to that selling pressure. Nifty just down about 9 points. Remember, we did breach the 11,400 mark very briefly in trade. It's recovered from those lower levels, and Bank Nifty, owing to gains seen in the Nifty PSU banking index today, is seeing gains of almost 80 points as we speak. But overall, let's also do a check for the broader markets. The mid cap as well as the small cap index are just about marginally in the green, and the market breadth largely seems to be okay. I think it's 1:1 last when I checked. That's no, actually it's slightly in favor of the declines right now on National Stock Exchange. Let's just pull up the Nifty contributors list and tell you which are the stocks which are dragging the index lower. So your heavyweights like ITC, that's down in trade, HDFC Twins, which hold almost 16 to 17% weightage on Nifty, and TCS, that's another heavyweight. All of them are seeing cuts. The support is coming in from Reliance Industries, State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, as well as Infosys. But in terms of sectoral losers today, you've got the FMCG pack, which for the longest time has been witnessing profit booking. So that's down 1.6%. Stocks like I already mentioned, ITC among the Nifty constituents. And you also have Godrej Consumer, Marico, all of them have seen cuts. But the Nifty PSU banking index today has been up and about since the morning session. So 1.7% gains coming in for this one. Let me quickly take you through a couple of gainers from the broader markets. Asahi Songwon Colors, that's the stock which is buzzing in trade, 12.5% higher. Saxoft, an IT company, this has been going up for the longest time, 10.5% higher for this one as well. And Taj GVK and Rennington, these two stocks have also seen some buying momentum in today's trading session. 14% for Taj GVK, Rennington up ahead of the new launch of the new iPhone. And on the losing side, Sun TV, Max Financial, which was up in trade yesterday, is witnessing profit booking, and LT Foods is something which has touched its fresh 52-week low in today's session. Shraddha.
All right, let's get in our two experts of the day. Jignesh Mehta of kiranjadhav.com and Vikas Sethi of Sethi Finmart are here to answer all your queries. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Now, our first query comes from BJ Rao, who writes to us on mail. He is holding 1,000 shares of Reliance Capital at 482 per share, which he is holding since 2008. He wants to know if he can hold on for another 5 years, and the fact that nearly 70% of the promoter holdings is pledged is a cause of concern. Let's get his query answered. Vikas, my question is to you. Clearly, he hasn't gotten any sort of returns over the past decade as the stock has continued to languish around those 400, 450 levels. What would you recommend for a longer term?
Yes, Shraddha, as far as Reliance Capital is concerned, it's not a stock which can be held on to for the next 5 years. Despite the fact that the stock has run up in the last few trading sessions, I think the investor should be exiting the stock and should be investing the funds received after sale of this stock into some other good quality stock. There are umpteen number of opportunities in the market, and Reliance Capital would not be the stock I would like to be with for the next 5 years. So I would recommend a sell on Reliance Capital.
Okay, so that's a sell coming in. That's a fundamental sell call on Reliance Capital. Let's move on. We're getting a lot of your queries. On YouTube, Girish Patel writes to us. He wants a target on Cadila Healthcare for the near term, and he's bought the shares at a price of 424. I believe the current price, yeah, it is at about 419, 420. Jignesh, if I could come to you on the charts, how is Cadila Healthcare looking? If somebody is bought around the levels of 424, 425, what would you advise them? What can the target be here?
Yes, Navneet. I believe Kedila Healthcare is taking good support. If you see from last around 4 months, from May to August, it has taken support at around 340 level. That was, I think, a base building formation. Along with the pharma pack breaking out from its falling trend line, I guess Kedila Health is a good stock to hold on to. I think viewer has bought at around current level. He should take stop loss at around 390. So as long as stock is about 390, we should continue to hold this stock. The target of Kedila Healthcare for around next 3 to 4 months should be 465, 470 levels.
All right, Mayank Saraf wants to know if, or rather the view on Talbros Auto. The company reported a good set of numbers recently and is also a major supplier to Bajaj Auto and Maruti. He needs some short-term targets, Jignesh, some targets for Talbros Auto.
I think I did not hear the stock name. Can you please
Auto.
Repeat the stock? Okay, yes, Talbros Auto. I think current structure of the Talbros Auto is good. I think it has taken a support from around 255 levels. Currently, the momentum is good in the stock. I think there is a sense to hold this stock. 285 should be the stop loss, and target for short term should be around 325, 330 levels. 330 is, I think, the resistance level for this stock. So 330 should be a good target zone for this counter. 285 should be the stop loss.
Okay, 285 should be the stop loss on Talbros Auto. Let's move on and take Deepak Batra's query. He wants a longer-term view on LT Foods. This is the stock we also highlighted in our market check. It's touched its fresh 52-week low. Today it's down almost 6% in trade. Vikas, if I could come to you, LT Foods, 47 is the current price. This has seen a lot of correction in today's session. What's the longer-term view here?
As far as LT Foods is concerned, it's a stock which is being beaten down badly. So at the current levels, I would recommend a hold. I would not recommend buying into the stock because I feel there could be pressure in these rice stocks once the sanction on Iran resumes. So that could be negative for all the rice stocks, and LT Foods could be one among them. So I would recommend a hold as far as the investor is concerned if he has already bought into it, but then fresh buying into LT Foods would not be recommended. There are, I think, several opportunities elsewhere in the market.
All right, fresh buying in LT Foods not recommended. Now you have Puneet Nanda who wants to know if he can buy Kotak Mahindra shares at the current levels for the long term. Despite the recent correction that we have seen in the stock price, it still continues to trade at a price to book value of 5.5. In addition, there is this uncertainty about what method Kotak is going to use to bring down his stake to 20% by December 18. So Vikas, since it's a long-term question, once again to you, would you advise buying Kotak Mahindra Bank at the current levels, 1200 or so?
Yes, Shraddha, this is one stock which I like. It could be bought into at the current levels. I feel most of the banks have corrected sharply over the past few trading sessions because of the weakening rupee, which could lead to an increase in bond yields, and that is having its impact on most of the private sector banking stocks. But I feel Kotak Bank is one of the good quality stocks. The asset quality continues to remain good. It's comparatively much better when you compare it with the other banks in the private sector banking space. Although the hangover of that stake sale would be there, but then I think that could be tackled. I have confidence in Mr. Uday Kotak in being able to resolve this issue. So I would be advising long-term buy call on Kotak Mahindra Bank at the current levels.
Okay, that's a long-term buy call on Kotak Mahindra Bank. In the last 6 months, the stock has given you returns of nearly 12 to 13%. Just trying to take some queries from Facebook now. Mr. M. Kumar writes to us and he wants a short-term view in Philips Carbon. He's holding 250 shares at 237 and he wants to know if you should hold or average. And the stock today is under some bit of selling pressure. 237 is his buy price, 227 is where the stock is currently trading. Jignesh, what would you advise on the charts? How is Philips Carbon looking like?
I think Phillips Carbon it looks like a strong chart just because if I see the rally that happened in July August, that was awesome rally, started from around 205 levels to 290 levels. Then the stock declined. I think this decline is just a consolidation. Stock is currently finding support at around 230 levels. So I guess 230 should be the stop loss for this counter. If 230 is survived, I'm sure stock should go once again to the earlier highs, and that should be 280. So 280 should be the target for this.
All right, 230, a stop loss, and 280 is the target. Next question comes from Chandra Shekhar, who wants to know if HUL is a buy, hold, or average. He has 45 shares which he is holding at an average price of 1743. The stock is trading sub 1600 levels now, so he is looking at marginal loss. Jignesh, key levels, and what would you advise him to do?
I think Hindustan Unilever is not a bad chart. If I see it is in a secular bull run currently, it has gone into the correction, but that doesn't mean that stock will not survive this correction. I think stock should survive this correction, but currently stock is in a negative momentum. Viewer has bought at around 1700 some levels. Currently stock price is around 1600 some levels. I would recommend viewer not to average at current levels, but if stock breaks below 1600, I'm sure he should look an average at around 1550 somewhere. For medium to long term, the stop loss should be at around 1500 levels, and target should be once again the earlier highs, or at least 1750 for this counter. Currently negative momentum, but viewer can definitely hold it.
Okay, you can look to continue to hold HUL, which is corrected sharply right from the higher levels that we've seen over about northwards of 1700. Remember, the entire FMCG pack has seen some bit of profit booking in the recent past. Amit Kedia on Facebook is saying that he wants to invest about 5 lakh rupees for the next 5 years or so, and he's looking for 5 good stocks to buy at current levels. Vikas, I'll come to you. If somebody is looking for a fresh investment in the markets right now and wants to deploy almost 5 lakh rupees for the next 5 years, he's looking for 5 good companies. What would you advise?
Yeah, Navneet, I think since it's a very, very long-term horizon, I think we need to focus on good quality large cap stocks. The 5 stocks which I would recommend to him would be Reliance Industries, then Sun Pharma, then I think from the IT space he could choose an HCL Tech, then from the NBFC's space, I think Bajaj Finance has also corrected quite a bit, and from a 5-year point of view, I do not have any doubts that the stock would continue to perform. So I would recommend Bajaj Finance, and finally I would recommend ITC as an FMCG pick at the current levels.
All right. Jignesh, the next question is coming your way. Saurabh Pathak wants to know if it's the right time to buy L&T Finance for the short term. Do you think that the rising bond yields could weigh on some of these NBFC stocks, at least in the short term? What would you recommend on L&T Finance?
I think L&T Finance is a good stock to hold for a longer term, and even if it is for the shorter term, I think I would recommend this stock because after a good set of gains recently, the stock has corrected sharply. Now it has come to the level of its support. I think 155 should be a good support for short term. On a longer term, I think 150 is the support. So viewer can take stop loss at around 150, 155 levels, and he can definitely go and buy it. The first target for this counter should be 185, 190 levels. Stock has not only broken the triangle of a long term, currently it has tested the falling trend line support level. So I think 150, 155 is a good support zone, and it makes a sense to buy this stocks even at current levels.
Okay, if somebody is looking for a fresh buy or fresh entry into L&T Finance holdings, can go ahead and buy. Technically, at least, is the advice coming in from Jignesh. Jignesh, coming back to you, Rishabh Tiwari has bought 500 shares of Mahindra CIE at 232 for a shorter term, and he wants to know if he should continue holding this or he should be booking profits, considering the current price is almost 290 vis-a-vis his buy price of 232.
If it is a short term, Mahindra CIE has already gained from its lower levels. So although for a longer term it has gone above its current triangle, and the triangle formation that took around 2 years for this counter. So after 2 years, when such a breakout comes on hand, it makes sense to hold this counter for a longer term. However, viewer wants the shorter term target. So I think shorter term the stocks can go to around 305, 310 levels. I think which is about the resistance zone for this counter. Currently, it makes sense to at least book partial profits into the counter. So viewer is holding whatever is he is holding. I think he should book at least 50%. 50% profit into his quantity. So currently, profit booking is something cannot be ruled out.
All right, book 50% of your profits in Mahindra CIE. That's the word coming in. Our next question is from Babani Shankar Bahera. Wants views on Suven Life Sciences. Is holding 150 shares. He has mentioned the price, but his timeline is 2 months. The stock, of course, has seen a sizable run-up over the last 1 month or so, in line with what the overall pharma pack has done. But for a 2-month period, Jignesh, how does Suven look on the charts?
Well, Suven looks very good on the chart. I'm sure anyone looking at the chart will not find it difficult to know that this stock is in a good rally. But the important point to look at the chart is the current 200 simple moving average level is 205, and stock has gone past the 300 level currently. I think when stock takes such a big rally, which it has not taken from last around 3 to 4 years, I think it is now time that stock will go into consolidation anytime. Viewer has a short-term view, so I would recommend if he's sitting on a profit, he should go and book the profit for the shorter-term view.
Okay, book profits in Suven Life Sciences is the technical advice coming in. On Facebook, Udik Sood writes to us, and he's holding 3,000 shares of First Source Solutions at a price of 38. Udik, that's a very good entry level. He's asking, what's the longer term view? He can continue to hold on for the next 3 to 5 years. Should he stay invested? And is the company good fundamentally? Vikas, First Source Solutions, if you track this counter, which is done pretty well, and our viewer has entered at a very good price of almost 38 rupees, he's willing to hold on for the next 3 to 5 years. What would you advise him?
Yeah, Navneet, it's a good quality stock. First, I would like to compliment the investor for having bought into a good stock at a very good price, and is already making 100% profits on the stock. But then I feel since he has a 3 to 5 years horizon, he could continue to hold on to the stock. The results which have been declared by this company over the past few quarters have been pretty good, and I feel most of the IT stocks would continue to do well, looking at the kind of weakness which we've witnessed in rupee and the growth being witnessed in the US. So I'm bullish on the IT sector as a whole, and FSL remains a good bet within the mid-cap IT space. So I would recommend a hold on FSL at the current levels.
All right, bullish on FSL, continue to hold is the word coming in. We also have a live caller. Sharath is calling us on the show. Very good afternoon, Sharath. What is your query?
Yeah, madam, good afternoon. My query is actually I bought Adani ENT shares for 139 rupees. So my question is, should I hold this stock for a long time, or should I book the profit right now as the stock is going downside?
Right. This question is for you, Jignesh. Just wanted to see how the stock is looking on the charts, because he's bought it at about 139 and is currently trading at about 150 or so. Does it make sense to exit at these levels, or should he continue to hold?
I think now Adani Enterprise has 2 levels we should look at. First of all, the stock is into the rally, so it makes sense to hold such a counter. But I think 2 days before, Adani Enterprise gave two-way moves, and I think stop loss and target should be that those levels. High was 171. I think that should be the target. The low of the candle before 2 days was 139. So I would advise 139 as a stop loss and target at around 170 levels. The stock has taken a very quick move from 75 to 180 levels. So I would suggest this stock does not make sense for a long term, because it will show whipsaws in the coming time. So I would recommend viewer to hold with a fixed stop loss at around 139 level.
Okay, that's Adani Enterprises for you, trading at levels of 150, not doing too much in today's session. Let's quickly move on to a rapid fire segment now. So our first question for that round is on NBCC. And Vikas, I'm going to come to you. One of our viewers had bought NBCC at 120. He wants to know what to do.
Navneet, unfortunately, the investor has bought at a very high price and sitting on huge losses. But from the current levels, I think the stock should do well. It's a good quality company. It's a government-owned company which is into construction and infrastructure and bagging pretty good orders. The order book size is also pretty large. So I remain bullish on the stock from the current levels. But since he's bought it at a high price, I think he could look to average also, and he can buy some more at the current levels and then sit tight and give it a medium to long-term period, and then I think he should be able to recover his losses.
Okay. Jignesh, is it a good time to enter Federal Bank right now? Fresh entry?
I think if it is Federal Bank, not a good time to take fresh entry. Stock is making lower tops and lower bottoms. I think 80 is a very important resistance zone. So the entry does not make any sense currently.
Okay, just a request for both our guests. Please keep your answers little short since we're trying to accommodate a lot of queries here. So Jignesh, I'm going to come to you. What's the good entry level for GAIL?
For GAIL, good entry. Current level is a good level. Viewer can buy 370, stop loss 395 should be the target.
Okay. This question is for Vikas, right? Is it a right time to enter into HDFC AMC post the minor correction that we have seen in the stock price reaction?
Yes, Shraddha, I'm pretty bullish on this stock from a long-term point of view. The investor should be buying into the stock at the current levels.
Okay, and the next one is on Reliance Capital. This one is coming your way, Jignesh. Bought at 477. Is it hold or sell?
Reliance Capital is a hold. Stop loss should be 380. Target should be 500.
All right. Technical view is what a viewer wants on Ashok Leyland. So, Jignesh, I want you to come in on this one.
Ashok Leyland, not a good chart to see. I think it is taking resistance at around 135 level. So if stock goes near 135, I think it becomes a short sell. Target should be around 125. 125 is also an important support zone. If it breaks down, I think stock could test 120, 115 levels also.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Those are all the queries that we could actually take right now. And on that note, we'd also like to thank our guests. Thank you very much, Jignesh and Vikas, for helping all our viewers with their queries. That's all that we have on this edition of Ask PQ.
But remember, we're just a tweet, post, or a call away. So please keep your queries coming, and we promise to address all of them through our shows. You can also log on to bloombergquint.com, search for hashtag AskPQ, and get answers to all the queries that were discussed on the show today. Don't go anywhere. Up next is Power Lunch. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.